evening, everybody, and welcome to another edition of 108 Stitches Baseball Talk. My name is Scott Morgan, Rock Motor City Madmouth, fresh off the 12 hours of Sebring. Over the weekend, was able to go out there and watch the race on Saturday, but had business to attend to Friday and Saturday. And, of course, this afternoon, I had the opportunity to cover the Miami Hurricanes Football Pro Day. And among some of the people that was actually there was Las Vegas Raiders coach Antonio Pierce. Mario Cristobal was there, and of course Jason Taylor, who's the coach of the games. And it's really good to be able to go to these pro days and watch some of these athletes that weren't invited to the combine make an impression in front of the potentially their future employers. With that said, I want to introduce my regular crew. Well, you know about me, know about George Eichhorn. Welcome back, George.
Hi, Scott. Hi, Mark. Good to be on again tonight talking baseball.
And we got the barber, Mark Maradai. Welcome back, Mr. Barber.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thanks for having me back. Love talking baseball with you guys. I could smell it in the air. I cut my grass. That's how excited I am for baseball season.
Well, that's why you're one of the co-hosts on this show, Mark. I mean, I knew that when we certainly got to know each other a while back, but also at Cooperstown, New York. For a lot of you folks that want to understand the nature of networking, I met Mark through Twitter, and then we ultimately got together in Cooperstown, New York, few years ago. So networking is key, people. You can meet people at anywhere and ultimately meet them in person, and that's been the joy of Mark Maradai. All right, let me go over some topics. We're going to be talking a little bit of college baseball tonight, as well as some of the interesting Major League Baseball questions many of us want to know. The reason why I'm keeping this college baseball tonight is I'm going to mention it now. Arkansas pitcher Hagan Smith tied a single game school record for 17 strikeouts. But here's the catch. He only pitched 6 innings. 6 innings. With that said, George, unbelievable.
Oh, my gosh. 6 innings and he got 17 strikeouts. Wow.
Yeah, that's what you and Josh Bernstein feel the same way. All right, there you go, Josh. Welcome back.
Good to have you, Josh. Good to have you, Blake.
And these are my favorite peeps. Don't worry, they're going to be working their way on the broadcast. But yeah, Josh, wow. All right, George, 17 strikeouts out of a total. Can get 18. Unbelievable.
That is incredible. I mean, I've seen some great pitchers over the years. We all have Nolanryan and Bob Gibson, Juan Marichal, and Denny McClain and Mickey Lulich. But boy, oh boy, I've never seen something like that before. My question would be, Scott, do you know if has he been drafted by anybody yet, or did it say if he's the property of another team yet? No,
nothing was specified. I think what's so cool, and you know what, George, really honestly, that's a fair question. You know, so they wanted to focus on the stats. Sure. You know, and then of course we're going to find out. Hey, Jesse, how are you, buddy? So, you know, they want to focus on the stats. Now, one thing about college baseball, and I covered it a few years ago, I don't like the aluminum bats. I really don't. I think, to me, it presents issues when these guys get to the professional league. I really have never been I think hitting stats can be a bit over-exaggerated because you have the aluminum bat. But thankfully, we are talking about pitching, and this kid here throws 17 strikeouts. And you can strike out, as many as 18, and then you got a record that, oh, my goodness.
My question is, what was his repertoire? Is he bringing smoke? Is he throwing over 100 every pitch? Is he throwing, has he got like a 4-pitch repertoire? Did they say anything like that? Because
no, not at all.
That's interesting.
Let me mention a few things which I want everybody to know. Every now and then, if I get a good topic on, I'll get it from Instagram. So the things that you mentioned there, Mark, now I'm not saying it isn't at some of the other places. Where I was able to go ahead and find this piece of information was on Instagram, and I decided to screenshot it is what I did. So, and that's why I think it was a great thing to bring up, because think about it, 17 strikeouts in 6 innings. I mean, my goodness. That, to me, we'll find out what happens with Hagan Smith later on down the road, but that's still one quite accomplishment. I love our dream team in the chat room with Blake Lozinski, Jesse Stauber, and, of course, Joshua Bernstein. These guys are unbelievable. They follow what we do, and we're really, really grateful for what they bring to the broadcast. So No, but to answer your question, Mark, I don't have any additional information except that.
Well, that's an incredible feat, guys. I mean, that really is. Now, there is an outside chance, as we saw in some college basketball recently, where teams were trounced because they were no good and they lost by 80, 90, 100 a point game in the college basketball. But still, even if this kid faced the Little Sisters of the Poor, the old joke used to be, he still deserves accolades. My goodness, 18. Oh, it's just incredible.
Somebody's got
here,
to swing the
what?
bat.
Let me go ahead and mention Will Vogel. All right, now we got a little more respect.
Hey, Will.
When it comes to researching stuff, Will Vogel to me is as good as they get. But Smith's first 15 outs were strikeouts with 12 coming from swings and misses. What does that tell you?
Yeah.
He's either throwing gas or he's throwing breaking balls.
Well, let's ride the Vogel train from that, Mark, and then we'll continue to fit it in. It's a fastball that goes between 92 and 95 and as high as 98. Keep it up, Will. You're on a roll, or as they say in sports, you're in the zone. All right, Mark, go ahead before Will comes up with another one.
Well, I was going to say he's either throwing gas, and I mean gas, and painting the corners, or he's throwing breaking balls that are busting about 15 feet across the plate, because that's amazing to get that many guys swinging out. I mean, 17 strikeouts is a feat no matter what, like George said.
Yeah.
An 85 mile an hour slider. Wow, Will, that's incredible.
Yeah.
Keep it up, Will. Oh, here, you know what? This is a show. I don't have to do a lot with my voice. Will's saving me the problem. Splitter.
And a splitter in the upper. Wow.
Don't tell me
you,
that.
Will. Thank you.
Good stuff.
Yeah, don't tell me that isn't something that scouts will salivate over. Good job, Will. Proud of you.
Hey, Will, while you're investigating him, can you look for us and see where he ranks in pitchers in college?
Well, here, you know what?
Here he is again.
I'm riding him. You know what, George? My voice has been taxed today, so you're going to start reading all of Will.
Okay.
Don't take it personally, but it's
no problem. Last season, he says that Smith posted an 8-2 record with 3.64 ERA, struck out 109 batters over 71 2/3 innings. Thank you, Will. Earning him All-American honors as a sophomore. Wow.
Good. All right, so Will's divulging his source. Let's put that up there as well.
MLB Network.
Thanks, Will.
They do good work over there. Thanks, Will.
Well, all right, here you go. Let's put
Candy
this one up.
Candy says that he's a 2024 Major League debut MLB pipeline number 15 draft prospect. Well, hey, with a couple more outings like that, guys, he's not going to be number 15. He's going to skyrocket up there.
No kidding. Yeah, I agree with you there, Mark. No doubt about that.
Wow.
I told you we had a topic that was loaded, and this one indeed was. No aluminum bats. This kid can throw heat, and he can throw a lot of pitches, and that's what a lot of scouts are looking for. Not a guy who's – there are times when they'll go out there and, look for what they'll end up looking for is velocity. But you know what? Here, let's go ahead back to Will Vogel again, George.
7 no-hitters, Will says that the kid threw in high school. That's phenomenal. Awesome. Yeah. Awesome research, guys, especially you, Will.
Yeah, right.
He's got to have good size, too. I mean, his stride to the plate must be phenomenal to be bringing that ball like that.
Yeah, don't worry. Knowing Will, he'll come up with that next. So he's our crack researcher for tonight. But Will, as a young potential broadcaster with a boatload of potential, that's for sure. So, but there you have it. Yeah, we'll see how it plays out. I mean, his numbers are what they are. And when you can go ahead and record that many strikeouts and no hitters, that's unbelievable.
Yeah.
All right, now let's go to Blake Lozinski. Okay. This is a fun comment. You guys need to do some sports betting with all the knowledge. Well, Blake, maybe we'll bring you on a sports betting show if you can find somebody. And I knew Will would come through. Look at this guy, unreal, 6'3", 225.
That's good. That's nice size.
Good size.
Will's 225 right now for all the right reasons.
Yeah.
Don't worry, Blake. I can't wait to get you on the show talking hockey. So don't worry. It was fun talking to Blake and Joshua today before I did my Canes deal. So there you go. Will is on a ROLL. All right. Well, so it's safe to say that this kid here, Hagan Smith, has a bright future, and we'll see how it all plays out as we lead toward the June draft. All right. Well, we'll move on. Per rotochamp, Javier Baez 2024 stat projections. Ready for this? They say 243 average, 15 home runs, 61 RBIs, 289 on base percentage, 390 slugging percentage, 679 OPS, 11 walks, 11 stolen bases, 26 walks, 135 Ks. So I guess I'm just going to pretty much go ahead and leave it at this. Well, Candy's got another nugget here, and we'll keep this pretty simple. All right, George.
Yep. And going back to Smith, the pitcher, attended Bulliard High School in Texas. He underwent Tommy John surgery before his junior year in 2020. As a senior in 21, he went 11-0. Oh my God, 0.19 ERA, 168 strikeouts, 7 hits allowed over 73 innings, alongside hitting 349. He went unselected in the 2021 MLB draft and enrolled at the University of Arkansas to play college baseball. Wow.
My guess is he went unselected because he had that Tommy John surgery at such a young age. But what kid doesn't get it today?
Yep, that's right. You're right, Mark. That's a great bit of detail. Thanks, Candy, for sharing that.
Yeah, that's for sure. Well, it's safe to say he's getting drafted this year anyway. So,
yeah.
All right, with that said, let's go back to Baez for a moment. George, you're in the area. Will he be a Tiger by the end of the year?
Well, I really appreciate those stats, those projections, but my goodness, I don't know where they're coming from. As you guys know, he's hitting about 80. He's under 100 as average in the spring training, and I know that you can't go by that. But the problem is that he's coming off such a terrible season, and we were led to believe that he had a very good off season. He worked his butt off, Baez, and wanted to make sure he was ready for training camp in Lakeland, Florida. Well, but what happened is he still can't hit. Thank you, Will. Last year, Baez hit 222, 9 homers and 59 RBIs, 12 stolen bases, but he swings wildly. He can make and defensively, he can make a dramatic catch or play, but then some of the routine stuff he just botches. He's not consistent with the glove like he used to be. Not that he ever was a Gold Glove winner, in my opinion. Now, getting back to his hitting, Scott and Mark, there's a real source of concern. The latest news I saw coming out of Tiger Town was that AJ is probably going to consider putting him in the bottom of the order until he starts hitting. They can't do anything. They got so much money tied up with this guy. Nobody's going to obviously take him off their hands. So the Tigers, I mean, I hope those stats, I would take that if that's what the rotor experts are saying. This may sound controversial. Send him to AAA so he can work on his game. Possibility, Will, but
we'll follow him up. We all know he's the prime. Certainly not a hindsight.
Only way they could get him there is if he had some sort of injury designation where they could potentially send him there for some rehab games. So he'd have to go on the injury reserve, and then they could move him down there. He could go on a 7-day injury reserve, right?
Yeah, but I that's not going to be enough for him. I mean, if they want to send a message to him, right, he's going to refuse to go to Toledo, AAA team for Detroit. But I mean, what do you guys think? You think he's got anything left in the arsenal? Not arsenal, batting.
All right, Mark. You know what? You answer it, then I'll finish it off.
I know what you said about spring training, but we're in the last couple of weeks of it. And right now, these guys need to be making contact with the ball and starting to get them rounding into shape. And if he's not doing it right now, he's giving you a clear indication what his season's going to be like. You got a lot of money tied up in somebody who's showing you in spring training. Maybe he didn't come even ready for it. He's been around forever. So, who knows where he is mentally at this point? When those guys get to a certain point and they're making all that money and they're not really, I don't know, they're not really as motivated to play the game. They just like that fat paycheck after a while, to be honest with you. So,
think about it though, Mark. MLB gives out guaranteed contracts and NFL doesn't. Play on a 1 year.
Yeah.
Personally, I think Javi Baez has been a bust so far. Sometimes you hit on these free agents and sometimes you don't. This is one of those situations where they simply got this one wrong, period. Now they're trying to fix it. We'll see if they can see if he's worth anything, but they're stuck. For another 2 more years, I think they're on the hook for. So they better find a way to figure it out, and they need to figure it out fast. But we know that there are some good prospects on the way, and then eventually you might have to use them as a reserve if some of the other guys, but they need them to perform. And then, like Mark just mentioned, okay, we're in week 2 of spring training. You need to find a way to get it figured out. Because in 2 weeks, these games count. All right, let me go over a couple of things here really quickly. 108 Stitches Baseball Talk is being broadcast around the world. The audio version of 108 Stitches Baseball Talk can be heard on iHeartRadio, Apple, Spotify, Google, wherever you get your podcast. Please hit the red subscribe button on YouTube, South Florida Tribune. We're striving for more subscribers, okay? Please also comment, like, and share the broadcast. Love all the energy in the chat room. Duncan Lozinski's in there. Will Vogel's on a roll. Blake Lozinski, Joshua Bernstein, you name it. Keep up with these groups. They're unbelievable. Also, you want to be a guest, okay? Send your top idea to southfloridatribune@gmail.com. If you want to advertise cost efficiently, give me a call at 954-304-4941. We broadcast live on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube. I'll go over some more stuff later. Also, if you notice during our ticker, everything that I'm explaining to you, okay, to me, is also at the bottom of the ticker as well. So check it all out, and we can go from there. Better listen live, Duncan Lozinski. Well, sure, it's great live because I get to go ahead and bring you on here and do it in real time. So that's really good stuff. So with that said, okay, George, you brought it up. Dodgers versus the Padres in Seoul, South Korea, March 20th and 21st. Dave Roberts has a little incident with an egg incident. But George, give me your overall perspective of baseball playing in Korea. Garrett and I know that the Koreans have a professional league too. They really, really do. So.
Yeah, this is something that I really was interested in talking a little bit about tonight, guys, because this is a huge commitment to take 2 training camps, 2 teams away from their camp, and obviously going quite a long distance to South Korea to open the season. Now, granted, you're opening the season almost 10 days, 9 days before the regular season actually gets underway, of course, in the United States. So it is a big gamble by baseball, but I know that all the sports, let's face it, MLB, NBA, NFL, NHL, they all want to have a presence internationally. That does not exempt baseball from doing the same. So I've heard from a couple of baseball nerds, friends of mine, saying, "Oh, that's a bunch of BS. Why go all the way across the continent or into another continent, across the ocean, I should say?" Hey, listen, like you said, Scott, they've got a professional league. Korea loves their baseball, just as Japan does, and Taiwan and China. And we've had little league teams come over for all these years, and the kids and the families, and they love it going to little league games. So Major League Baseball has to do this once in a while. They have to. And in fairness to all the teams in the league, I mean, they try their best to rotate it. Okay, let's be honest. The Dodgers and the Padres are both loaded with talent. And Ohtani is a Dodger now. And of course, there's going to be this humongous response. So as much as it's an inconvenience, as much as it's costly, don't forget that you are exposing the American product of baseball in the United States, but more importantly, also to other countries as well. So at first I was kind of, well, here's another one. But no, I think this has its purpose. Be interested in knowing what you guys think.
All right, you know what? I got to put Blake on. This guy's on. I like this guy. How do you guys know this one? So I think Scott needs a head coach of the Marlins and George's system. I think your other half will let you move to Florida, George.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Thanks, Blake. I appreciate it.
Don't forget we need Mark down there too, though, on the staff.
Yeah. I could be the bullpen catcher.
Okay. If on my staff, if that's what you felt your service was suited, so be it. All right.
I think Scott's going to get the play-by-play job, though, and I'll be the coach, and Scott will be the announcer.
Yeah, that would be nice. All right, let's go ahead and put Will back on. Baseball is played worldwide, North America, Canada. Yeah, it sure as well. I mean, why do you think the Little League Baseball, Little League World Series draws as much? Because it is a worldwide sport, knowing full well that you're going to end up seeing some players eventually reach the big leagues.
Yeah.
Good point, Will. And again, you're full of them tonight. Okay, go ahead, Mark. Take a crack.
I think what's happened here is it's a great idea to take the game outside of the country. And I'm not talking Canada, and I'm not talking Mexico. I'm talking about outside of the country to other places they do play baseball, because a lot of those fans want to see the guys who are playing Major League Baseball. I still think Major League Baseball is probably the premier product for so many of those places. And just look at it. Guys jump from Japan, they jump from Korea, they come to America to play baseball. Now, money talks. There's no question about it, but it's still the Premier League, in my opinion. And I think a lot of those fans want to see those guys, and those are two good teams going over there to play. Hopefully they field quality lineups when they go.
Well, let me mention a little bit something about Korea. Number one, a lot of MLB players play over there if they don't have jobs here. So they'll go out there and kind of find that 1 year or two where they are able to regain their form. But more importantly, the one thing we can't lose sight of with Korea is they had the Korean Baseball Organization, KBO as they call it. But here's the thing, okay? I was watching that brand of baseball with COVID-19.
Me too.
When those games were on. And I'll tell you what, that's a good brand of baseball. Don't sell Korea short. In fact, I'll even take it a step further. I remember when I went to the 1984 Olympics and I saw Korea play the United States in baseball, and it was pretty cool. That was my only trip to Dodger Stadium. So
that's good, Scott. That's good memory for you, and you're right. I was so disappointed when the Olympic Committee years ago decided to drop baseball. And now they're going to bring it back when Los Angeles has the games 4 years from now. I heard it's going to be back at least as a demonstration sport. But yeah, that's great. That's great memory you got it back in '84 in Los Angeles.
Yeah, it really was. I mean, Dodger Stadium, I'd like to get back there one day, hopefully. I don't know when, but I did make it there once. So we appreciate all the participation in the chat room. You guys are the best. All right. Mark, I mean, I don't care about the Dave Roberts incident. Everybody says that the guy's got some mental problems. Well, how are you going to go ahead and check an egg through security? Where in the United States, they look for far greater things than that. So, but Dave Roberts, whatever. I mean, things happen.
Yeah. I'm with you, Scott. I'm looking at it as an isolated incident. I mean, I don't know. You don't like Dave Roberts as a manager, I know. We used to have somebody on this show previous and one of the announcers, commentators, and he couldn't stand Roberts. He wanted him fired. But everybody's got an opinion. But yeah, I think this guy's got perhaps a screw loose, to go and try to egg the manager after he arrived in Seoul.
Well, Josh bursting is another word. He had schizophrenia. Yeah, Josh is what. I guess I'll use the old cliche, you're in the ballpark, pun intended. So there you go, Josh. Good stuff. You never know. I mean, throwing an egg, I'll leave it at that. Mark, anything you want to say to wrap up the topic?
No, I mean, these guys, some of them will just do anything they can to get some attention when they come out of the spotlight. And who knows what he was thinking? Who knows? He wants guys like us to talk about him. That's what he wants.
We are. Yeah. We are, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I guess they're good for content. I'm not reading into it. And like George said, it was can't even keep a straight face on the topic, but whatever.
God, we got our eggs thrown at our cars in the old days. The kids used to egg our houses on that certain night of the year called October 30th.
George, nobody around the country knows it, but in Michigan it was called Devil's Night.
Oh, yeah. Right.
And what's crazy about the whole thing, Devil's Night, you cause problem. The next day you have Halloween, you get your candy. Go figure.
Right. I
got the best candy of them all, and it doesn't have anything to do with Halloween. So that's all I can tell you.
That's right. Yes, you do.
And now I remember old Devil's Night, Halloween, and how people used to put Stope on windows. I mean, come on, I got tired of doing it. I can't do this and having
Yeah.
that take their candy the next day.
Hey, kids are too busy on their cell phones today to do that stuff.
No
Yeah.
kidding. Thank you very much. And you know what? We're ending that topic, okay, on that note. All right. One last piece of business I want to get to. Carlosrodon, no-hitter through 5 2/3 innings. A pseudo manager by the name of Joe Torre took out Rendon versus the Phillies, thanks to Aaron, and he had Aaron Boone's permission. Do you really think a no-hitter is going to carry much weight during spring training anyways? I mean, I got to tell you something really interesting in Fort Lauderdale Stadium, though. I saw a no-hitter at Fort Lauderdale Stadium, but you had a combined one, 3-3-3 at Fort Lauderdale Stadium. So, I mean, all right, George, what's your take on Carlosrodon?
Well, congratulations to him. Even if it is spring training, he pitched a hell of a game today. And isn't that funny and ironic that old Joel Torre put on the Yankee pinstripes and for another time? And this isn't Major League Baseball, but of course he works in the MLB office, and I think it's kind of a neat story. And I think that obviously you're not going to leave a pitcher in the whole game during spring training like that, anyways. I think about 6 innings is the maximum, and they had him into the 6th when he took him out. But it's kind of funny, yeah. Joe Torre, I love the guy. I always did, as a manager and as a gentleman. So that's about all I got. Yeah.
Let's go back to Jeremy. Thanks for being on here, Jeremy. Get used to Bernstein and the Lozinskis. You're going to be on a future show with them, TBD on the date. Well, if you want to go out there and talk about Baez,
Javier Baez,
Jeremy, come up with one straight trash. And this is a guy who's the maker, of Matt Patricia. But I said it, Jeremy, not you, so you're okay. So, but tell me how you really feel about it, anyways. And of course, Joshua riding the ball rig train, smoking J. Yeah, I don't know what these other symbols are, so I can't do it. Nice to see Rodon play well after struggling last year. To see him play well this year. Love Joe Torre. I'm a Yankees fan. That's good stuff. Well, all right, go ahead, Mark.
I thought that was a super nice gesture by Aaron Boone to let him go ahead and have the reins, go out and make the hook on that play. I don't think it was about the no-hitter, though. I think it was the fact that, you're bringing out a legend to make the hook on a guy who was the way I looked at it and read into it was he was starstruck when Torre came out. Torre gave the motion in the bullpen. I think he motioned for a righty, whatever it was. But Rondon was pretty much starstruck that Torre came out. My wondering is, is this going to be something Major League Baseball lets happen quite a bit with old managers and things like that to continue to spark people to get more interested? I know, Scott, you said that, there's always movie stars and musicians and stuff that go to the ballpark and play an inning, whatever. But, I think this is a different thing. You're talking about a guy who's a legend in the game. I know if I was a player out there and he came out and I had no idea what was going on, I would absolutely be dumbfounded too. So I thought it was really neat.
Well, dumbfounded, but remember the key words though, Mark, okay? Spring training.
Yeah.
Yeah, here, you know what? Okay, well, this one's worth putting on.
Come on. Come on. Great minds think alike. Oh, my God. Scott, Mark, I was going to say the same thing. Thank you, Will. You took the words right out of my mouth. Jim Leland going into the Hall of Fame.
Out of your mouth because you never said it in the first place. He did. Give credit where it's due. It's Will Vogel.
All right, Will.
I'm glad to have you on. We appreciate you being on. So looking forward to catch up with you later. Thanks, Duncan. God bless. All right, now, George, you didn't have it out of your mouth. Let's just give Will Vogel his props here, man. And, of course, now he wants to talk about Tony LaRussa for the Cards.
Hey, I got a good story for you about Leland, though. When Detroit was playing the Pirates, I think it was last year they played them. The one radio station there wanted to call it the Jim Leland series, and whoever won the series got a bronze-plated ashtray.
That's a good one, Mark.
I mean, he was so notorious for for Smoking Jacks, man. It was crazy.
Oh yeah, the Marlboro man. He's got all kinds of nicknames, but
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, he's going to the Hall of Fame this year. They are going to have a day for him at Comerica Park in early August. So maybe that would be a good occasion for the Tigers, AJ Hinch, to let Leland in on making a pitching change or something. So
Yeah,
but a good
absolutely.
idea, Will.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
Jeremy, going on his channel. So, anyways, thanks for popping in.
Peace,
And,
brother.
Yeah, and you know what?
Peace.
Well, we know you can go all day. Every now and then, folks, Will Vogel does appear on Fire Up on Thursday night. So and you can see him in our chat room. Will, just a wealth of knowledge. And again, he's a young podcaster on the rise. So again, no, you didn't take it out of George's mouth. He didn't say it. He had the same chance until you did it. As far as I'm concerned, no problem doing it during spring training. I hope it doesn't become a trend in the regular season. There has to be something with no hitters, to me, where they go 9. They really, really do. I mean, every now and then, I don't like combined no hitters. I don't feel they're a real no hitter that's worth. Who do you really credit the thing to? That's where I always wonder about.
Yeah.
Well, they get listed in the history book, and then they put, that it was so and so, Joe so and so, Sam so and so, and Phil so and so, whatever. I mean,
Yeah,
they still get their names listed.
So you mean to tell me that 3 pitchers, if you had 3, are going to get credit for this thing? That to me is, okay. I mean, I'll take your word for it, Mark. I just think it's weird, strange.
I don't like it. I agree with you, Scott. I do agree with you. I think if you're throwing a no-hitter, it should be one guy throwing 9 innings or whatever it takes to get credit for that no-hitter.
Yeah, I agree.
Instead of a combined no-hitter.
Well, here's the thing. Everybody wants to accuse MLB about what steroids does for performance-enhancing drugs. I get it, okay? You have the right to talk that way, and I totally understand and respect where you're coming from. But by the same token, now we have what we consider a no-hitter, which to me is one of the most unbelievable places a pitcher can go. If he doesn't do anything in his career but throws a no-hitter, and Mark, both of us have been in Cooperstown, they have a showcase that talks about no-hitters of all these guys. I'd like to see what Cooperstown is going to do when you have these combined no-hitters. I haven't seen that. I know we're due back to Cooperstown one of these days, but that, there's some stats and things that you have in MLB, okay, that you wonder. We all talk about there's PEDs, no hitters, you name it, but some stats are just sacred. There haven't been many perfect games, no hitters.
Well, you got to, even back in 1967, though, Scott, the Baltimore Orioles used 3 pitchers to have a no hitter against the Tigers. So it does have a history. I mean, it goes all the way back to that one, I believe. Might have been the first one. But you're right. Nowadays, it's just more commonplace to change pitchers. And, the Tigers were fortunate. They had one, Spencer Turnbull, a couple of years ago.
I remember that.
Complete game no-hitter. But you're right. It's going to be rare and rare because of this pitching change and the, pitch count business.
But George, you're talking about a combined no-hitter in 1967. I wonder how many people in our chat room were even alive and even knew about it then. And really, when you think about today's audience, MLB's trying to get to the younger audience. I understand that they're making the necessary rule changes to try to speed the game. I'm okay with it. And Don Mattingly once told me, hey, whether we like to change it or not, we're going to have them anyway, so you might as well get used to it and don't complain. Yeah, I love Don Mattingly. He's like a brother to me, and I always welcome the opportunity to see him anyway. So Don Mattingly does belong in the Hall of Fame, separate day for another time. But as I told you, how do you justify these combined no-hitters, or where do you put them in the place of history?
Kind of like if you'd ever put the steroids guys in the Hall of Fame, you put a little asterisk beside them.
That's a good point. Or the other thing you do is you have a little wing in there, although they do have something in there for steroids that talks about these guys. So after all, Mark, we know it, that the Hall of Fame to me is a museum where you can learn from.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I emphasize the words museum that we can learn from.
Yep.
100%. 100%.
All right, let me talk about some other business. We have a website out there, www.southfloridatribune.com, Twitter /X @Tribune South. Candy Evelyn is behind the scenes as well as producing the show. I do have a book out there called Lessons from the Microphone, Tuning into the Enduring Wisdom of Visionary Leaders. It is now available on Kindle, Amazon, and Barnes and Noble, and we're working on getting more and more media distribution as well. But Barnes and Noble is the latest one. This book pretty much talks about old school media versus new school media, and I think it's really fascinating when you compare the different eras and all that. I think it just blows me away. So with that said, I hope it's a very inexpensive. You can get it, the ebook, whatever you want to do. But I hope everybody, if you don't know anything about the industry, everybody can benefit from this book. So with that said, okay, as we wrap this show up tonight, George, why don't you let everybody know how they can get a hold of you?
Yeah, your best way to reach me is on the South Florida Tribune. You can read my articles under the Motor City Tribune. At the end of that column of mine, you'll see a link to my book, which is called Detroit Sports Broadcasters on the Air. Well, thank you, Candy. That's very nice of you to put it above my shoulder. Scott's in the book, and boy, and also I know that he's got that great picture of him with Muhammad Ali in his book as well. So we're all, supporting each other with our books. You can reach me at gicorn@yahoo.com, on LinkedIn under my name, and on you can reach me also I'm on Instagram, all of the social media sites, and you can also follow me on 108 Stitches, Sports Exchange, Fire Up, and pundits, great shows here on this South Florida Tribune and Sideline Sports. Great networks to be part of. Thank you.
Okay, Mark, go ahead.
Well, I'm not quite as famous as these guys. I don't have a book out there just yet, maybe someday. But Original Sports Podcast with Mark Maraday and the Barbershop Crew airs every Tuesday night, once a month. We do go live on location to do our show with an audience once a month, at least once a month. We have a guest. You can find us everywhere you find podcasts. We also are on Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat, you name it. We're on there pushing ourselves out. We are part of Sideline Sports Network, Let's Talk Sports Network, and most recently, we have been picked up by Elite Sports and Entertainment Network, and we will be on Tuesday nights from 9 to 10 on Roku.
Beautiful. And not only that, I can't thank Mark enough, who's been very helpful with both us on social media, especially on Twitter, helping us share the content. And of course, when the opening came here to find a baseball person, it was the easiest decision I've ever had to make in my 44 years, Eddie, the barber, to the show. And you know what? I don't mind admitting that you made me look like a genius, Eddie. You on there?
I don't know about that.
Well, no, I do, because I've been through an awful lot with a lot of different shows. But when I find somebody that has your knowledge of the game as well about life, you're more than just baseball, Mark. You're a lot about, because you teach as well.
Right.
And I know that's the one thing that when you have a guy who's a teacher and then does all this podcasting stuff at night to have fun. I got to know him well in Cooperstown. I know the individual that I was thankful to meet. I don't meet everybody. It's hard to meet everybody that you come in contact with, but if it works out, it does. So
yeah,
but the power of networking got Mark and I together, and now Mark is a permanent part of what we're doing here. Catch us on Monday nights. Our normal time slot is around 8:15. But today I was very busy with the Miami Hurricanes Pro Day, so I pushed the show back by about 15 minutes to take care of business at Coral Gables. So, but a lot of things you got to take care of your media distribution partners, and that's what we try to do. But meanwhile, we're on Monday nights. These are my two guys, and we'll bring on guests, so stay tuned. So meanwhile, on behalf of George Eichhorn, the barber Mark Maraday, my name is Scott Morgan, about the Motor City Man. I'll thank you for joining us. I want to thank once again everybody that participated in the chat room. You guys are the BESD, and we look forward to seeing you again on other shows. So good night, everybody, and we will catch you the next time. Bye now.
Right.